The broken vow. The morning light streamed through the lace curtains, casting delicate patterns on Olivia Bennet's wedding gown. She stood before the full-length mirror, her auburn hair perfectly arranged in loose curls adorned with tiny white flowers. Her mother, Patricia, dabbed at her teary eyes while adjusting the cathedral-length veil. "You look absolutely radiant, sweetheart," Patricia whispered, squeezing her daughter's trembling hands. "James won't be able to take his eyes off you." Olivia smiled, trying to calm the butterflies in her stomach. After 3 years with James Porter, today was finally the day they would commit to forever. The elegant ballroom at the Willowbrook estate was decorated with cascading arrangements of peonies and roses, exactly as she had dreamed. Her bridesmaids bustled around the bridal suite, their sage green dresses creating a serene backdrop for Olivia's moment. The photographer captured candid shots while Olivia's best friend and maid of honor, Tessa, handed her a glass of champagne. "To new beginnings," Tessa toasted with a wide smile. "You deserve every happiness, Liv." The clock ticked closer to the ceremony, and Olivia felt a mix of excitement and nerves washing over her. This was supposed to be the happiest day of her life, the beginning of her future with the man she loved. But something changed when Tessa's phone buzzed. The color drained from her friend's face as she read the message. "Tessa, what is it?" Olivia asked, her heart suddenly racing for all the wrong reasons. "Liv, Tessa hesitated, holding her phone like it might shatter. "There's a note for you." With shaking hands, Olivia took the phone and read the message from James's best man. James left. Said he can't go through with it. "I'm sorry." The words blurred as tears filled her eyes. The champagne glass slipped from her fingers, shattering on the hardwood floor, a perfect metaphor for what was happening to her heart. "He can't do this," Olivia whispered, her voice barely audible.
Not today.
"Not like this." Patricia rushed to her daughter's side, but Olivia pulled away. She needed air. The bridal suite suddenly felt suffocating, the walls closing in as reality crashed down around her. Stumbling into the hallway in her wedding dress, Olivia found herself face to face with curious onlookers. Whispers circulated as she pushed through, desperate to escape the pity in their eyes. "Excuse me?" A deep voice cut through the chaos. A tall man with kind hazel eyes and dark wavy hair stepped forward. He wore a charcoal suit that stood out among the pastel wedding colors. "You look like you could use an exit strategy." Olivia blinked back tears, struggling to place him among the wedding guests. "Who are you?" "Nathaniel Crawford," he replied simply. "Friend of a friend. Not important right now. What is important is getting you somewhere quiet." "May I help?" There was something calming about his presence, no judgment, just quiet understanding. Olivia nodded, desperate for escape. Nathaniel removed his suit jacket and draped it over her shoulders, partially concealing her wedding dress. With a gentle hand on her back, he guided her through a service corridor, away from the prying eyes of guests. They emerged into the garden behind the estate. The autumn air was crisp against Olivia's tear-stained cheeks as Nathaniel led her to a stone bench beneath a maple tree. "I don't understand," Olivia whispered, clutching the borrowed jacket around her shoulders. "We talked last night. He seemed happy. How could he just leave?" "Sometimes people make choices that have nothing to do with the worth of the person they're leaving," Nathaniel said softly. "This isn't a reflection of you, Olivia." She looked up, surprised. "How do you know my name?" A small smile crossed his face. Wedding programs are quite informative. Despite everything, Olivia found herself letting out a small, broken laugh. "I suppose they are." She wiped her tears with the back of her hand. "I should go back inside. Face everyone." "You don't have to face anyone until you're ready," Nathaniel countered. "There's a small cafe just down the road. It's quiet. No one will bother you there." Olivia hesitated. The thought of returning to the ballroom, explaining to over 100 guests that the wedding was off, was overwhelming. "I can't just disappear," she said, though part of her desperately wanted to. "You can do whatever you need to right now," Nathaniel assured her. "Your mother knows you're safe. I spoke with her before approaching you." That small consideration, making sure her mother wouldn't worry, made Olivia trust this stranger a little more. "Okay," she finally agreed. "Let's go to the cafe." And so, still wearing her wedding dress beneath Nathaniel's jacket, Olivia walked away from what should have been her perfect day, guided by the unexpected kindness of a man she'd just met, but who somehow seemed to understand exactly what she needed. Unexpected news. 6 weeks had passed since the wedding disaster, and Olivia was slowly rebuilding her life piece by piece. She had returned to work at the publishing house, finding solace in the familiar routine of editing manuscripts and attending meetings. Her apartment, once filled with reminders of James, had been transformed: new furniture, fresh paint on the walls, and not a single photograph of her ex-fiancé in sight. Through it all, Nathaniel had remained a steady presence. What began as coffee meetups had evolved into regular dinner conversations and weekend walks through the city park. He never pushed for more than friendship, respecting the fragile state of her heart. On a crisp October morning, Olivia sat in her bathroom, staring at the pregnancy test in her trembling hands. 2 pink lines appeared clearly in the small window, confirming what her missed period and recent bouts of nausea had suggested. "This can't be happening," she whispered, closing her eyes as if that might change the result. But it was real. She was carrying James's child, a permanent connection to the man who had abandoned her on their wedding day. Olivia called in sick to work and spent the day wrapped in a blanket on her couch, trying to process this life-changing news. By afternoon, she'd made only one decision. She needed to talk to someone. Almost without thinking, she reached for her phone and texted Nathaniel. He arrived at her apartment an hour later with a bag of groceries and concern etched on his face. "I brought soup and bread," he said, setting the bag on her kitchen counter. "And chocolate, because that seemed important." Olivia managed a weak smile. "Thank you for coming." Nathaniel moved about her kitchen with comfortable familiarity, warming the soup and arranging everything on a tray. "You sounded upset on the phone." "Whatever it is, we'll figure it out together." His use of "we" wasn't lost on Olivia. Over the past weeks, they had indeed become a team of sorts, Nathaniel helping her navigate the aftermath of her broken engagement, and Olivia bringing a new lightness into his apparently solitary life. "I'm pregnant," she blurted out, the words hanging heavy in the air between them. Nathaniel paused, spoon midway to the pot of soup. For a fleeting moment, something unreadable crossed his face before he carefully composed himself. "That's significant news," he finally said, setting down the spoon and moving to sit beside her on the couch. "How are you feeling about it?" Terrified, confused, overwhelmed. Olivia pulled the blanket tighter around her shoulders. "I never pictured becoming a mother like this, alone with a baby whose father walked out on us before they were even conceived." "You're not alone," Nathaniel said firmly, taking her hand. "Whatever you decide, I'm here." Tears welled in Olivia's eyes. "Why are you so good to me, Nathaniel? You barely knew me 6 weeks ago." A shadow passed over his features. "Sometimes people come into our lives exactly when we need them most. Maybe we needed each other." Olivia leaned her head against his shoulder, drawing comfort from his steady presence. "I'm keeping the baby," she said quietly. "I know that much. Everything else is a blur, but this child deserves to be loved regardless of how they came to be." "Then we'll make sure they are loved," Nathaniel replied, his voice gentle but resolute. "Have you thought about telling James?" The question pierced through Olivia's momentary calm. "I don't know if I can face him. After what he did." "You don't have to decide everything today," Nathaniel assured her, one step at a time. The next week brought Olivia's first prenatal appointment. When Nathaniel offered to accompany her, she accepted gratefully. Sitting in the waiting room surrounded by expectant couples, Olivia felt the absence of James keenly, but Nathaniel's steady presence beside her helped ease the pain. "Ms. Bennett?" the nurse called, and both Olivia and Nathaniel stood. The ultrasound revealed a tiny flicker, the heartbeat of new life growing inside her. Olivia felt tears stream down her face as the technician pointed out the barely formed shape on the screen. Beside her, Nathaniel squeezed her hand, his own eyes suspiciously bright. "That's your baby." The technician smiled, handing Olivia a printout of the ultrasound. About 8 weeks along, perfectly on track. Outside the clinic, clutching the grainy image, Olivia felt a strange new resolve forming. "I need to tell James," she decided. "Whatever happens between us, he should know about his child." Nathaniel nodded, though something in his expression shifted. "If that's what you feel is right." That evening, after Nathaniel had gone home, Olivia crafted a simple text to James. "We need to talk. It's important." His response came almost immediately. "I've been wanting to reach out." "Can I see you tomorrow?" Olivia stared at his message, her heart racing. After weeks of silence, he wanted to see her now. She wondered what he would say when he learned about the baby, whether he would step up or disappear again. As she set down her phone, it chimed with another message, this one from Nathaniel. Whatever happens tomorrow, remember you're stronger than you know. Call me if you need anything. Olivia traced her fingers over his words, feeling a confusing mix of gratitude and something deeper, something she wasn't ready to name. Tomorrow would bring a confrontation with her past. But tonight she found herself thinking more about a future she couldn't yet clearly see, one where Nathaniel's quiet strength had somehow become essential to her. She placed a hand on her still flat stomach. "We're going to be okay," she whispered to her unborn child. And for the first time since seeing those two pink lines, she actually believed it. Hearts Unveiled. The coffee shop where Olivia agreed to meet James was neutral territory, a place with no memories of their shared past. She arrived early, settling into a corner booth with her hands wrapped around a cup of decaf tea to stop their trembling. When James walked in, Olivia's breath caught. He looked thinner, with dark circles under his eyes and a nervousness that seemed foreign on the once confident man she'd planned to marry. "Liv," he said softly, sliding into the seat across from her. "Thank you for agreeing to see me." She nodded stiffly. "You said you wanted to talk." "I've been in therapy," James began, running a hand through his disheveled hair. "After what I did, I knew something was wrong with me. I've been dealing with anxiety for years but never told anyone. The wedding, it triggered a complete breakdown." Olivia listened silently, her hands protectively hovering near her abdomen beneath the table. "I'm not telling you this to make excuses," James continued. "What I did was unforgivable. But I'm getting help now and I miss you, Liv. I know I have no right to ask, but is there any chance we could try again? Start slow, rebuild what we had?" Before she could respond, Olivia's phone buzzed with a text from Nathaniel. "Thinking of you. You've got this." The simple message gave her the strength to say what she needed to say. "I'm pregnant, James." His face registered shock, then a complex mixture of emotions. We're having a baby?" "I'm having a baby," Olivia corrected gently. "Your involvement is something we need to discuss, but first I needed you to know." James leaned back, processing. "How far along?" "Almost 9 weeks. So when I left, I didn't know yet," she finished. "I found out last week." James was quiet for a long moment. "I want to be part of our child's life, Olivia. I know I destroyed your trust, but please don't shut me out of this." Olivia had prepared herself for many reactions, but his immediate acceptance caught her off guard. "I won't keep you from your child, James. But whatever happens between us, it needs to be what's best for the baby." As they discussed practical arrangements, Olivia felt an unexpected sense of closure forming. The man sitting across from her was taking responsibility, something she hadn't been sure he was capable of after the wedding. Later that evening, Olivia sat on her balcony watching the sunset, reflecting on her conversation with James when her doorbell rang. Nathaniel stood in the hallway, concern evident in his eyes. "I wanted to check on you," he said simply. "How did it go?" She invited him in, recounting the conversation with James as they settled on her couch. Nathaniel listened attentively, asking thoughtful questions but carefully maintaining a neutral tone. "He seems sincere about wanting to be involved," Olivia concluded. "And that's good for the baby." Nathaniel nodded, though something in his expression seemed distant. "I'm glad he's stepping up." He hesitated before continuing. "There's something I need to tell you, Olivia. Something I should have told you weeks ago." A knot formed in Olivia's stomach. "What is it?" "The job offer I mentioned in London. They called today. They need an answer by tomorrow." Olivia felt like the floor was dropping beneath her. "You're leaving?" The thought of facing her pregnancy without Nathaniel's steady presence left her feeling hollow. "I don't know," he admitted, running a hand through his dark hair. "And there's something else." He took a deep breath. "I wasn't completely honest about how I knew about your wedding." Olivia frowned. "What do you mean?" "James was my roommate in college," Nathaniel confessed, unable to meet her eyes. "We lost touch years ago, but when he sent the wedding invitation, I came because I was curious about the woman who had captured his heart." The revelation hit Olivia like a physical blow. "You knew him all this time?" "I never expected what happened at the ceremony," Nathaniel hurried to explain. "When I saw you in the hallway, I just wanted to help. But then we started spending time together and I found myself falling. He stopped abruptly. Falling what? Olivia whispered, her heart pounding. Falling in love with you, he admitted quietly, which makes everything so much more complicated. You're having his baby, Olivia, and now he's back wanting to make things right. Olivia stared at him, processing this new information. Why didn't you tell me sooner? At first it didn't seem relevant. Then, as we grew closer, I was afraid you'd think everything between us was somehow about him. But it wasn't, it isn't, it's about you, Olivia. Just you. She stood up, needing space to think. So what now? You take the job in London and disappear from my life? That's what I've been struggling with, Nathaniel admitted. The rational choice would be to step aside. Let you and James figure things out for your child. But the thought of leaving you, his voice broke slightly. I can't imagine my life without you in it anymore. Olivia turned to face him, tears streaming down her cheeks. These past weeks with you have been the most honest relationship I've ever had. Even with this secret between us, you've shown me more genuine care than James did in 3 years. What are you saying? Nathaniel asked, hope cautiously entering his voice. I'm saying that when James left me at the altar, it hurt because my pride was wounded. Because I was embarrassed. But when you told me about London just now, I felt like I couldn't breathe. Because the thought of losing you terrifies me. Nathaniel crossed the room to her, gently taking her hands. I love you, Olivia. And I would love this child too if you'd let me. What about London? She asked, her voice small. There will be other opportunities, he said firmly. What we have, what we could build together, that's worth more than any job. Olivia looked up at him, finally understanding the depth of what she'd been feeling these past weeks. I think I've been falling in love with you too, Nathaniel, without even realizing it. He pulled her gently into his arms, and for the first time their lips met in a tender kiss full of promise. I need to tell James about us, she said when they parted. He deserves honesty, especially now. We'll tell him together, Nathaniel assured her. Whatever happens next, we face it as a team. 3 months later, Olivia sat in her doctor's office for another ultrasound, Nathaniel by her side. James had taken the news of their relationship better than expected. His therapy had genuinely helped him develop perspective. They had worked out a co-parenting arrangement that put the baby's needs first. Would you like to know the gender? The technician asked as the sound of a strong heartbeat filled the room. Olivia looked at Nathaniel, who squeezed her hand in encouragement. Yes, she replied, her free hand resting on her now visible baby bump. We would. As the technician revealed they were having a daughter, Olivia watched tears of joy form in Nathaniel's eyes. Sometimes life's greatest gifts came from its deepest disappointments. What had begun as the worst day of her life had set her on a path to something authentic and true. A love built not on fantasy or expectation, but on genuine care, honesty, and the courage to begin again. She's beautiful, Nathaniel whispered, staring in wonder at the monitor. Just like her mother. Olivia leaned against him, finally at peace. The broken vow that had once shattered her world had ultimately led her to where she was always meant to be, in the arms of someone who chose her every day, not just on a wedding day. Someone who would stand beside her through every joy and challenge that lay ahead. Someone who had helped her find the strength to rewrite her own story. New beginning spring arrived with a flourish of cherry blossoms as Olivia's due date approached. The nursery, painted in soft mint and adorned with twinkling fairy lights, stood ready for its tiny occupant. Nathaniel had moved into Olivia's apartment, transforming it into a home filled with laughter and anticipation. Have you decided on a name yet? Tessa asked during her visit, admiring the crib Nathaniel had assembled. Olivia exchanged a meaningful glance with Nathaniel. We're thinking of Everly Rose, she said, resting a hand on her swollen belly. It means brave and resilient. Everything I hope she'll be. James had remained true to his word, attending parenting classes and helping prepare for the baby's arrival, while respecting the boundaries of Olivia and Nathaniel's relationship. The 3 adults had found an unexpected harmony in their unconventional situation. When Olivia went into labor 3 days before her due date, both men were at the hospital, James pacing nervously in the waiting room while Nathaniel remained steadfastly by her side through 18 grueling hours. She's here, the doctor announced as newborn cries filled the delivery room. A healthy baby girl. Tears streamed down Olivia's face as the tiny bundle was placed on her chest. Nathaniel kissed her forehead, his own eyes glistening with emotion. "She's perfect," he whispered, gently touching Everly's tiny hand with his finger. Later, when James entered to meet his daughter, there was a poignant moment of shared wonder between the three adults. Looking at the miracle they had created, directly and indirectly, all past hurts seemed to fade in importance. "Thank you," James said quietly to Nathaniel, "for being there when I couldn't be." Nathaniel nodded, an understanding passing between the two men that transcended words. As Olivia watched them, cradling her newborn daughter, she realized that families came in all forms. Theirs might be unconventional, but it was built on something stronger than tradition. Honest love, mutual respect, and the shared commitment to giving Everly the best possible life. Forever. After Everly's first birthday party was a small gathering in the backyard of the house Olivia and Nathaniel had purchased together. James arrived with his new girlfriend, carrying a stuffed elephant that immediately became Everly's favorite. "She's getting so big," James marveled, watching his daughter toddle between guests on unsteady legs. "She definitely has your stubbornness," Olivia laughed, the old hurt long healed into something resembling friendship. As twilight descended and guests departed, Nathaniel led Olivia to the garden swing he had built beneath the maple tree. Everly had fallen asleep in her grandfather's arms, giving them a rare, quiet moment together. "Do you ever think about how differently things could have turned out?" Olivia asked, leaning against his shoulder. "Sometimes," Nathaniel admitted. "But then I look at our life now and I can't imagine any other path." He reached into his pocket and withdrew a small velvet box. "I've been waiting for the right moment," he said, his voice steady despite the nervousness in his eyes. "I don't want to replace the past, but I do want to build our future, officially." Inside the box was a simple emerald ring, its green stone catching the last rays of sunlight. "It's not a diamond," he explained. "I thought we might start a new tradition instead." Tears filled Olivia's eyes as she understood the gesture, not an attempt to rewrite her painful history, but an acknowledgement of it while offering something entirely new. "Yes," she whispered, allowing him to slide the ring onto her finger. As they sealed their engagement with a kiss, Everly's happy babble drifted from the patio, a perfect soundtrack to their moment. Life had taken Olivia on an unexpected journey, from heartbreak to healing, from abandonment to belonging. In the garden of the home they had built together, surrounded by the family they had created through love rather than obligation, Olivia finally understood that sometimes the broken paths led to the most beautiful destinations.